Well, Tom Brady and Tampa Bay were getting their title defense in the same place it all put to bed with the championship with the Lombardi, taking on the Dallas Cowboys to start the 2021 season right at home at Raymond James Stadium. Taking on Dak Prescott September 9th on a Thursday night in prime time. So this is where it gets interesting. Of course, Tom Brady, like others across the league, noticing the schedule, TB12 on Instagram and Twitter, wherever you can find social media nowadays, saying, it can't come soon enough. Excited to open against America's team, and then the fist pump there, of course, as we get closer to the 2021 season. Joining us now, senior NFL writer Jason Lockenfor. It seems like TB12 is excited about opening against the Cowboys, but that can't be the highlight of the schedule for the year for him. Of course, Brady returns to New England as a visitor for the first time, week 4, getting to see his old coach, Bill Belichick. I mean, for me, this has to be the game of the year for them. Is this another game just for Tom and Bill, or do they have this one kind of circled a bit?
Oh, this is circled. This is in Sharpie. This is in probably paint on the side of their house with the date. Look, it did get personal there at the end, and they had a wonderful business arrangement that lasted longer than almost any in this league do, and they reached heights that no one's reached before together. But they've been separated for a while now, and one of them went on and just kept on winning, and the other one didn't even really come particularly close to making the playoffs and is still searching for Tom Brady's replacement, and they hope they have that in the form of Mac Jones. But and for Tom Brady, of course, this is visceral. This is emotional. And to be back in that stadium, wearing another team's jersey in the visitors' locker room, warming up with the other team, I'm sure that he will be showered in applause for the beginning, the start of that game. And then we'll see where it goes. But only one of these two individuals can actually affect the game with the ball in their hands. I would never bet against Tom Brady in a situation like this. But yes, to see Belichick scheming a defense to try to stop Tom Brady for the first time will be worth the price of admission, and I'm sure the ratings will be just absolutely unreal.
You talk about the emotion there. Of course, the divorce didn't go too well, but a long-standing relationship before that. I mean, when we talk about the emotion, will we see something similar to this, JOC? Bill and Brady there, in a deep
cried
hug.
on his shoulder?
It's kind of funny because everybody around them not really paying any attention, but this is just like a long love fest.
That's a moment of zen right there.
Will we see this?
Yeah. I don't know that we're going to see quite an embrace like that. I tend to think we're going to see maybe a sleeveless hoodie kind of thing when he chops the arms off, because he's really going to war now. It's the student versus the pupil. I don't know that Tom is going to necessarily want to be all that touchy-feely. I could see Tom and Robert Kraft having a moment like that away from the cameras, like in the tunnel somewhere. I do not think we will see a pre- or post-game embrace quite like that. Probably not until maybe Tommy's in the Hall of Fame and Bill's there and Canton to watch him go in.
The only thing we're missing from that picture was the slow jams playing in the background. Of course, the mood lighting was already there.
Yeah.
But speaking about the guy that's replaced him over there since last season, Cam Newton returned to Carolina week 9. Patriots heading on the road back to Charlotte. That relationship ended kind of messy as well, with Cam, of course, being cut. Safe to say that Cam's going to have a little chip on his shoulder heading back to where it all started from?
Oh, of course. That's baked into the cake, especially when we're talking about athletes who've accomplished this much, who've spent that much time in one place. And of course, I felt like Cam handled that thing, his exit, with more grace than you could expect from anyone. But in his heart, they moved off of him, and they didn't even necessarily know who the next guy was. And they didn't have, it's not like they had another 1-1 first overall pick there waiting in the wings. And Cam has obviously struggled before that release with medical problems, and obviously after that release last year with the Patriots, throwing the ball downfield was an issue. I don't know how much of Cam we'll see in this game. I think it's going to be Mac Jones time way before then, but special situations, goal line, red zone, short yardage situations, I am sure Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels will have packages where they can still tap into the things that Cam does at a really high level and what Cam can mean for them in terms of option football, RPOs, different things at the line with play action. But I think Mac Jones will be driving that train by then.
Yeah, Ron Wilson saying moments ago that we could possibly see maybe Mac Jones week 5 at the earliest this year, so we have to wait and see how that pans out. How about Stafford and Goff? Of course, both those QBs traded for one another in the offseason. Rams kind of in that win-now mode, the reason why they brought Stafford in. Lions trying to rebuild here. What are you expecting from these two meeting?
Yeah, look, I mean, the Rams are, 5 primetime games, I think, tied with the Ravens for the most in football. And some of that's because the league wants to continue to spotlight and show off that beautiful stadium that they got built in L.A. And part of it is just because of the Rams becoming an interesting team, a little bit more of a national brand under Sean McVay. And anytime you give Jared Goff all that money and then a couple of years later, like, nah, we're going to trade him for pennies on the dollar and go upgrade. And remember, they were chasing Aaron Rodgers. Had the Deshaun Watson thing really evolved more quickly, I think they would have been in on that. It turns out Stafford's the one move they can make. I mean, again, we are a long ways away from this game being played, and I don't know who's going to be questionable or doubtful or on the IR, but I like the Rams as an organization in terms of the product they're able to put on the field today and projecting months from now. Far more than I do the Lions, who are clearly in a rebuild. I thought the Lions had a nice first draft, but the Lions have a lot of holes to fill. Sean McVay and Matt Stafford, that marriage should be good from day one. That should be a robust passing offense from day one. I don't want to hear a whole lot about growing pains and this or that. That's an established coach. That's an established quarterback. They're both workaholics. They've been doing all their offseason stuff. Stafford's going to know that playbook inside and out. And I think the Rams offense is going to be a thing.
Got about a minute here, JLC. Want to jump to Week 17 with the Browns traveling to the Steelers, and not necessarily an old team or old player facing an old team, but more so Big Ben. This will be their final home game of the season if we're looking ahead here. Could this be his last game in a Pittsburgh uniform?
Oh, I mean, look, I don't think Ben Roethlisberger is going to be starting for them by then. I have a hard time looking at that team as constructed and looking at their schedule and looking at what other teams in the AFC are doing. Now, will he still be on the roster? Sure. But I think they will have given another look at Mason Rudolph or a first look at Dwayne Haskins well before Week 17. I don't think the Steelers are going to be playing for a whole lot the last 3-4 weeks of the season, in all honesty. And they have a lot of their key division games backed up in the second half of the year. I think both Baltimore games, you mentioned the Cleveland game. I'm not sure that Ben's still going to be at the helm for any of those.
Wait, so I just want to piggyback. You just say you don't see him starting at that point. Is that because of them not possibly making to the postseason, or more so at the point they'll be done and looking towards a future? Real quickly for me.
I think the lack of offensive production, the need for more mobility and athleticism at the quarterback position to help unlock the run game, age, and then a guy at the end in his last year, and the need for a team that's not going to the Super Bowl to start looking more at what they have that might be there a year or two in the future.
All right, JLC dropping the mic here. Before we even get to Week 1, why not just go all the way to Week 17? Want to see Big Ben there. Appreciate it as always, my friend. Take care.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.